This all started when I decided to go out for a night drive up to my new favorite spot that was local to me. I was driving up the mountain, just taking it easy and enjoying the view. And when I reached the top, I parked in this designated viewing area and took some videos and pictures of my car and the surrounding woods. While doing this though, I started getting that feeling like I was being watched from the surrounding wilderness. I wasn't surprised though, and kind of expected this. It was the middle of the night, and there were more than likely some predators out there trying to see what the ruckus was all about. But then it got very intense suddenly, like ominously intense. So I started to wrap it up and just started moving locations to get a nice view of the stars and just enjoy the scenery. But then I had that overwhelming sense of fear wash over me out of nowhere again. So I grabbed my speaker that was playing music but under 25% volume so I wouldn't disturb the wildlife. I hopped in my car, rolled up the hand crank for both windows, reattached my steering wheel, put it into reverse, stalled it, and then took off. If you know anything about cars, you know Miatas are great in the canyons because how light and nimble they are, although they're underpowered. I also pride myself in being a good driver and knowing my car and my limits, so keep this in mind when you listen to my story. When I was driving, I lost that urgent sense of fear, so I slowed down to reach a store at the top, and I parked just to get my bearings. I felt that soft feeling of being watched again, but it wasn't too bad this time around, so I just started editing the photo and video. Then again, I got hit with that overwhelming urge to run as much as I can. So I started driving again, and I have this overwhelming sense of dread, fear, and urgency just washing over me the whole time. At this point, I'm hauling ass at the top of third gear. I again lose that overwhelming sense, and it just lingers at this point. So I back off the throttle and put it into fifth gear and proceed to try and calm down. But unsurprisingly, it hits me again full force, so I drop a gear and attempt to disappear. I'm double laning, taking the apex, understeering and oversteering, but the feeling keeps getting more intense as time goes on. And on this one straightaway, it feels like something is about to reach out and grab me from behind. At the next corner, I hit the brakes and turn, and I swear I saw the reflection of two eyes in my mirror, and some long, tall thing less than 2 car lengths behind me. At seeing this thing, I hit the throttle, kicking the back of my car out and almost losing control, but I was able to reel it back in. At this point, I'm driving with little to no self-preservation. I'm getting so close to the inside of each turn I slide because of the dirt, and I'm kicking clouds up behind me. Whatever that thing was chasing me, I lost it on this long sweeping turn where I hit my top speed. But following that is a series of low speed corners where it catches right back up to me, and I feel this sense of loss almost overpower me. But I just push the gas in more and keep on trying to outrun it. On the way down, I pass some sort of Mercedes SUV going up the hill on a straightaway. I see the headlights suddenly disappear right before the next corner, and all of these feelings suddenly become non-existent. But I was afraid they were going to come back, so I kept pushing hard. About 30 seconds later, they all came back full tilt, and I just kept on going. About a minute later, I see the thing in my mirror again. I keep driving hard, gaining and losing ground for the next 5 minutes or so. Then I pass some sort of pickup truck, and as before, I lost those feelings again. I made a right at the stop sign and got through all the gears again, but that intense feeling came back when I hit fourth. I passed a gas station when I was driving, but I didn't stop because I felt this thing was so close. But then I entered the lights that came onto the streets, and everything felt like it would be okay. But again, less than a second later, when I left those lights, those feelings hit me again. Although I was going so fast, I believe I was outrunning it at this point. There was one spot in my mind that I was running towards because there was a lot of people in that area, so I figured that would be the safest. As I drove faster and got further, those feelings were much less intense. And as I approached civilization, I pulled over in the spot I decided was my safe zone. So there I stopped and shut off the car to let it cool off, and all I smell was the brakes and tires from running it so hard. I hit up a few of my buddies who are local to the area, and they said they're not surprised that I saw something up there that might have been like a skinwalker or some shit, because there's Native American tribes less than 10 miles away from that spot. I'm mildly superstitious, so I know some native folklore, but stuff like this, I don't believe. I don't think there's skinwalkers in this area. From what I know though, Wendigos might be mainly exclusive to the East Coast. But from a quick Google image search, I looked and the thing that I saw most resembled a Wendigo. It was a biped, but it could switch to 4 legs. It was pure white with orange and red eyes and could run upwards of 60 miles an hour. What kind of creature can do that? I did a quick search earlier and haven't found anything of the sorts being reported, but then again, I'm not very knowledgeable in this area. This was the most terrified I've ever been in my entire life, hands down. I don't have any history of mental illness. This wasn't a hallucination and it wasn't my imagination. I didn't let fear get the best of me because I was freaked out because I was in the forest. I go up there all the time. Something was chasing me. The area is Southern California, near Escondido. The mountain is practically surrounded by Native American tribes. I was at the top, near 12:30 a.m. I wrote this down mainly to document what happened to me, in case it happens to someone else, here or wherever. But if you can help identify this thing, I'd appreciate it. I went to see a local medicine man, or shaman, to see if it tagged me, and to have myself cleansed. They said I wasn't tagged by this thing, but cleansed me anyway. I've been up there every weekend since then, and haven't felt anything again, but I always have friends with me every time now. I'm never going up there solo alone again. That's for damn sure. For those saying it's fake, or that any encounter is fake because you think these creatures don't exist, I assure you, this and so many other encounters are 100% real. It's extremely scary, and it's a horrible thing that happened to me. Just writing it out will give you the same feelings that I experienced, and I'll never be able to truly describe how I felt or what that thing was properly.